Commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to domesticate the Domestic Workers Bill of Rights in Nigeria, establishing minimum employment standard, ensuring the protection and welfare of domestic workers, and for related matters. Standing in the name of Honorable Akin Alabi, honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Wednesday, 9th October 2024.
Mr. Speaker, the aim of this bill is straightforward, and it's just to set labor standards for domestic workers. I'm referring to our maids, probably nannies, cleaners, gardeners, gatemen, you know what I mean. I'll start with the legislative responsibility. Mr. Speaker, in 2011, Nigeria signed a treaty at the International Labour Organization in Geneva. We signed a treaty to enforce and ensure labor standards for domestic workers. But since then, it has not been domesticated. And for those of us that understand international relations, we know that Nigeria is a dualist state, which means that if we sign a treaty, before it can be enforced in Nigeria, an act has to be passed by this parliament. That is clearly enshrined in Section 12 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended. It would be fantastic, Mr. Speaker, if this assembly, the 10th assembly, can be the parliament, can be the house that eventually passes this into law. From the moral perspective, Mr. Speaker, this is big 2025, but a lot is still happening. Things that are happening by the so-called ogas and madams in various homes all across the country is similar to slave trade. Dehumanizing act carried on, perpetrated, and these domestic workers, a lot of them living in what we can call modern day slavery. Mr. Speaker, this should not be happening in this time and age at all. And I want us to ensure that we be the parliament to pass a bill that will ensure that there's a minimum standard of working conditions and living for our domestic workers.
It's very particular and indeed extremely important, especially for a country like Nigeria and Black Africa, where culture can at times conflict with law. In our culture, most of our cultures, especially considering where we come from, children at times are seen as a means of labor when you spoke about going to the farm, deploying them to farms, and actually having chores done. And most of the time, because of our way of thinking and our orientations, coming from where we're coming from, we'll find out that there are tendencies where we might more be guided by culture instead of by law. And by so doing, you'll find out that at times the rights of these children or the rights of these domestic workers are actually extremely abused. Mr. Speaker, there is no better time than now to set the record straight, for us to be able to embrace global best practice, but still with the tint of what our culture says, so that we do not lose the core of our fabric that makes us who we are as Nigerians and as Africans, but at the same time know that there is dignity in every life that the Almighty God created. So to this end, I wholeheartedly support the bill as ably moved by my colleague. I so support.
When the parliament empathizes with the people, it shows that we are highlighting the dignity of humanity, and empathy should not be restricted to the people who are of the upper class. Those downtrodden ones who are serving us, they deserve to be respected. And I'm sure by the time the parliament is done with this bill, the rights of the commoners on the street who has no voice will be given a voice. Thank you for presenting this bill. This bill is referred to the Committee on Labor, Employment and Productivity.